afternoon, everyone. Today we are gathered together to mark the extraordinary occasion of the opening of 3 new elementary schools. Our hopes and dreams for the future are embodied in our children. The schools they attend are the places of promise and the linchpin of our community.
Whenever we design schools, we try and create environments that will be supportive of how children learn. We're very conscious of creating appropriate environments for children that support the way that educators think about learning.
You know, we had old elementary schools, so we right away said we want to do something different with libraries. And really most of this came from teachers and principals saying, you know, only one class can go at a time, and it's scheduled. So we moved from that to this learning corridor concept, where the library is almost a continuous presence throughout the building.
Recent neurological research has really given us new insights into how we all learn. Being very active, that mind-body engagement really helps reinforce learning. So what does that mean for a school? It means that you want to have places where children can move around, where children can build things. You want to have project-based activities. Another important idea is collaboration. Brains learn best when they work in concert with one another. We all learn in different ways. Schools need to have different types of spaces that support those different types of learning.
Educators are saying that kids need what we call the 4 C's: communication, collaboration, creativity, and critical thinking for the workplace, but also just the world we live in and the way that our economy is changing. So this space offers a lot of opportunity for a whole range of convocations of gatherings of kids to be taking place outside of the classroom.
Instead of just being crowded in one spot, you get to help others and go to different places.
We've always felt that these activities and these project things were important. We couldn't do it in our classrooms. We always had to find spaces for it. But having the space and having the area will make it easier and therefore more fun.
There's a time for whole class instruction, but much more of our curriculum is designed to be more personalized, more individualized, so you have children working in small groups.
And it's kind of good to learn with other people. What you know is good, and what they know, you could put them together and make something to connect with both of your stuff, and you could be an even better student.
I love the fact that there's no door here, because kids can see the adults that are their teachers working with each other.
The teacher on the south side of the building can see a 5th grade teacher on the west side. And it's kind of cool because they look all the way through class.
When you have a very public culture of teaching and learning, it really raises the level of accountability for students, for teachers.
The room here, I think, is wonderful, the room between the 2 rooms, because that has a window. I have no qualms at all about sending children in there and saying, hey, you know, you might want to work on this a little bit.
So this could be easily a place where our 2 4th grade teachers here plan together and work together. It could be a place where they have kids that come do independent work here. It's a quiet space, which I like. They can close the door, but they've still got visual access, and it's nice that you can have visual accessibility right through to the other classroom. They've always got about 10 sets of adult eyes just kind of informally kind of supervising and surveying them. And that allows them to take on a role of being much more independent and responsible.
For me as a principal, I have the opportunity to see a whole lot of what's going on.
Transparency gives you a sense of, you know, what's happening as you walk down this hall. You can see into the classroom, you can see into the library. We've got display happening. Eventually, we're going to see lots of rows of projects here. The whole school becomes kind of an evolving artifactorium, and like a science fair, but it's happening all the time, and it's not just science.
Kids take great pride when they see their work being displayed, and also students learn from seeing other students' displays.
I think the biggest challenge going into this was adapting the physical environment, this idea of project-based learning.
It was really important for the administration and the board that we kind of start from scratch. Use the research that's out there that says to reach every child, you've got to do some things differently.
So you had to get multiple uses out of a space. You couldn't have a cafeteria and a library and a lobby and a stage and all these things. You had to begin to marry those those elements together.
English class.
It is.
But it's so different from what I've seen before. How do you teach in this? I don't even see a teacher's desk.
There is not a teacher's desk. I spend my time walking around, working with students, collaborating with them.
Students enter this world tech-ready, and educators want to tap into that. In what director Mike Lynch calls blended learning, teachers don't lecture for the entire class period.
Instead, they might deliver a small little mini lesson for the first 5 or 10 minutes, and then we have students breaking off into groups.
How do you know that there isn't just one strong person representing this group?
Well, there are a couple of ways. One is through observation. Google has revision history, and when there's a group of 4 working, I can see if one student didn't participate as much. I can see when students did their work.
This kind of oversight and accountability will be new for students.
I don't want to raise another generation of really good test takers where it won't benefit.
All of this is really helping them for college, career, military.
If you want it wider, you divide X by, so like 10.
Ooh, that's perfect. I found this image by Basquiat that I really liked, so then I kind of broke it down into all possible math, which I pretty much just isolated parabolas and cylinders. So then I wrote like a page of notes about it and then projected it on and made 2 different compositions of my notes and then made the background. So I'm trying to emulate Basquiat, but also incorporating a bunch of math.
Part of the proposition is this is a place where you're going to find out who you are. And art, of course, is a really great way to do that. So if you think about the history of the United States over the last 100 years, every time the country gets in trouble, there's an investment in science, technology, engineering, and math. It happened in the 1880s, it happened in 1917, it happened in the 30s, it happened with Sputnik, it happened with GI Bill, and it's going to happen again right now because of the circumstance we're in. The downside to that is that there's an emphasis on science, technology, engineering, and math to the detriment of the arts. For us, we just say, oh, science, technology, engineering, and math, fine. That's what everyone wants to focus on. We'll give it to you. But we're going to load it up with art and design and conceptual work that kids do because actually engineering and art are integral.
Standing on it.
I care about space. I've thought about space really a lot. And I'm accustomed to schools where the architecture gets in the way. And I didn't want a school where we were going to try to do things despite the architecture. So what I love about this building is when you approach it from the outside, it's just a box. And then you come in here and you go, whoa. People say, this doesn't look like a school. I love to hear that. That's one of my favorite things to hear. They say it feels like a startup, like an incubator. Something like that. So that's why we have all this glass. Why do you have glass? We get to see what's going on in classes. Kids get to see what's going on with each other, and you get to look at student work. This is designed for exhibiting student work. This is about curation as much as anything else. Right? And people said, oh, you can't have all this glass because the kids are going to be at the glass and fooling around. There's none of that. And actually, instead of being in this little egg crate where kids can't wait to get out because they want to go see somebody else, they see people coming by and it's not a big deal. And also, we don't have adults' bathrooms and kids' bathrooms. That's not a small thing, that's a big thing. We just have bathrooms. So if you treat kids with respect, if you treat them like adults, if you enter them into the adult world, they will behave like adults. As Voltaire said, suspicion invites treachery. So it's basically founded on respect.
Half of what they teach you, and the very first thing they teach you, is about professionalism and business, and they teach you how to market your idea and where to go, how to start, who to talk to, how to basically create your own idea and start your own company.
I also saw in the world of industry people telling us that entrepreneurship is the next revolution in our economic structure across the nation. And so what we did is we spent a lot of time with industry partners taking a look at how do we build an entrepreneurial type of a program that would provide a space for students to take their ideas, go to a prototype, develop a proof of concept, and if it has enough legs, take it to a provisional patent and commercialize it.
If you look at the student being the actual product, think about the transformation they're going from being locked down in their schools, binded up really in that hairball, if you will, release of that here, and be able to follow that path of their own thinking, their own personal touch, and really have this awakening of, holy cow, I have incredible strengths that I've never discovered and incredible potential. I'm going to keep working to those. And once they get working on a strength-based model, that's when you see these kids come alive and engage in it and really start running with it.
We were on a team of architects that designed the original building and had a portion of the space left over. Blue Valley came to us last year and said they wanted to finish it off into an accelerator type environment that would allow groups of students ranging from 1 to 5 to do more of a collaborative teaming. Early on we realized flexibility was key. The entire building is designed around flexibility, and as we honed in on this space we really saw the importance of being ultra flexible. So we designed the space that would allow them to kind of define their environment. As different teams formed, they could adjust to the projects that they were taking on.
They can have an idea, they can turn it into a dream, and the place can turn it into reality.
CAPS is just a really good way for kids who, go to the Blue Valley School District or who live in the boundaries, I guess, to get a real world experience for what it's like to work in their field of study.
Instead of just a learning and listening to lectures environment, you're actually doing projects to enhance your ability to actually work with actual businesses and understand how the actual world works.
I decided to become a mentor with CAPS because I looked at what I had available to me when I was in high school, and I knew that I wanted to get involved in really interesting engineering projects, but there just wasn't any coursework available. When I saw what they were trying to make available to students, I said, I have to be a part of this because it's something I wish I could have done.
We have over 360 mentors from the business community and 240 business partners, and that is the essence of why this thing is so unique. CAPS has the opportunity to work with real projects from business partners. We have business partners that will speak and teach. They help us write curriculum.
There's a small business that needs a project done. Maybe they need a business plan. Maybe they need a social media plan. Maybe they need a website developed. We will do that for them, and we'll partner with them, and we'll do that at no charge because it's a great experience, for our students to be involved with that, and they're, again, very, very relevant. I mean, it's a real world experience. It's great for the business because they're receiving a quality product, at a price, quite frankly, that's very attractive to them.
It really is business meets education.
I came in the CAPS program maybe thinking I wanted to be an artist, some sort of designer, my first semester here. But then as the semester ended, I knew that I wanted to major in programming, which is what I do in the technology solutions class with coding. And I also want to minor in graphic design, which I think would give me an edge if I wanted to be maybe a game developer or a programmer for NASA.
We, as much as we can, provide students the authentic experience of what it would be like to be hired by some of these companies. Or who are your business partners? How do you leverage that untapped potential that you've got in your community? And how do you take those business partners and align them with your students' interests in high-demand, high-skilled jobs?
Revitalize the school, you have to go hand in hand with revitalizing the neighborhood.
Such as you,
We have our own school-based health center, our own vision center.
Vision Center serves all Cincinnati Public School students in need, providing on-site comprehensive eye exams, glasses, fittings, adjustments, and medical eye care.
There's 802 kids in winter school right now. 400 have already been through. Of the 400, 200 of them needed glasses.
If someone from the community needs something, the only thing they have to do is come to the school building.